And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in. How does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than I do about him.
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
Apologies, I've only just met him the once. This is sudden. I've only just returned to England.
Dr. Swansea is a brilliant surgeon and the most compassionate physician.
If you could point me in the direction of my room again, nurse.
Second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the last vacant office at the end of the corridor.
Thank you, Nurse Crane. Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research. Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
How long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
You're right. When dealing with such a terrible disease, one must remain humble. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't try our best.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned, Milton is not the chatty type.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Oh, blood boil with the fever.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swans's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
Knowledge has always been and will remain our main weapon, and it has always come at a price. And personal initiative.
It is not a question of initiative, it is a question of integrity. These men and women have put their faith in us, Dr. Reed.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd. Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than...
Let's just say I'm tired of the
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed. Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely...
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
What can I do for you, Doc?
Thank... Good evening, madam.
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer.
What can you tell me about your...
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and...
May I ask if you have an occupation?
I'm a teacher by profession. Yes, thanks to my husband.
What do you
I have had the uttermost reservation.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcome.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
I share your
I don't expect...
Goodbye, Miss...
I will not let you down, Michael.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed.
No.
Really? Why...
I don't want to talk. My throat...
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here.
Yes.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer.
Tell me about yourself.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
How painful.
So painful, I'd rather not talk.
I'm sure you really...
Not really.
I see.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to...
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
Pembroke Hospital may look...
It's not me.
How painful.
So painful, I'd rather not talk.
I'll...
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
You're an idiot.
Good evening.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
My sweet girl.
What can I do for you?
Thank you. Good evening, sir.
I don't know if
I see. Would you mind telling...
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I...
Tell me about yourself, Mr.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being...
I'm a carpenter. And a good one, too.
Are you satisfied with your...
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured.
I won't lie to you about it.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed?
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now... Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of...
What do you mean? Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Good evening, Doctor.
Dr. Reed.
Thank you.
I am Thoreau Strickland.
Please, could you tell me something?
I'm a great admirer.
I based my tech...
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's...
As long as you're cautious and
You're not the first one to warn me. I'm not ashamed.
It's all...
This epidemic may...
What do you think of Dr. Aykroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work together? So you believe it's just a question of jealousy?
Dr. Aykroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete...
What can you tell me?
Well, it has always been an honor to...
Do you need help?
Well, yeah.
Do you want me to play?
Oh, no.
I see. You seem quite
I'm convinced.
Questions rem...
True.
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him? Or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
I
agree.
Do you think...
All I need...
You always knew the...
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
You can't hold yourself responsible.
Of course I didn't hurt myself, but I can't...
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army, building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during...
I would like to say...
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Falling apart. But in the circumstances...
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
Tell me, Waverly, what do you think of Dr. Strickland's enthusiasm for his experimental research?
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory. Now that, sir, is unethical.
Are you thinking about something in particular?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure, but my young colleague obviously disagrees.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Why do you wish to...
I strongly believe that Mr.
I really hope you're right.
I'm not the kind of...
And are you...
rivalry.
Thank...
In the circumstances, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Good evening.
And good evening to...
Good evening, Nurse.
Good evening, Doc.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins. Good evening, Nurse.
Dr. Swan...
Did he really?
All members of staff have...
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised.
You must know.
I'm not familiar.
Brilliant perfect.
Most.
It would be...
Is...
Well...
Why should his...
I guess it... No.
How are...
No.
How are...
Not...
Do you...
We are all...
And...
Sorry.
Goodbye, now. Good evening, sir.
So it is...
Do we know it?
Actually, yeah.
Dr.
He was also... What is hospital?
It's not exactly the best situation, and
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed.
you're exhausted.
No. We must keep on healing all those poor souls.
Nurse Brand, you don't have... What can you...
Some are...
Tell
Nurse Brand...
You really seem to...
I'll go even...
Any...
I don't...
Ah, yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Goodbye, Doc.
What happened? Did I black out? Whoa. Did I black out?
Good evening, Nurse.
Good evening, Doc.
Why does Dr. Tippett's claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left the Pembroke years ago.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore, does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration when it comes to medical practice and knowledge, I really hope he doesn't.
Goodbye, nurse. Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reed. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war, and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you ever...
Are you really smuggling weapons?
And why not?
But you're not...
You keep it... You want to hear the... I've been in a... It's a Yesterday.
You left.
Go there, you...
Why do you have such a mediocre reputation among your colleagues, Milton?
Fuck them. Nobody knows the horrors I've seen since working here. This city was sick long before the epidemic, Dr. Reed.
I know it's a difficult task, but correct me if I'm wrong.
I've seen babies left to die while their brothers were properly fed.
I'm sorry, I don't know what...
Yeah, exactly.
I'd like to...
Wise choice, Doctor.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital.
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight...
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal...
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
I'm assuming...
It's only a cover.
Who are... This...
I'm not...
I see.
Thank you.
And
I don't need to... I can...
I see.
Never.
It's a mental...
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
It was such a long time ago, I don't...
Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No.
I'm Dr. Reed.
You guessed right.
Oh, it's... Can I ask...
It's the pain.
How is your...
Oh, it's...
Can I ask...
It's the pain.
Where were you staying?
A real...
No offense.
You were an...
How close are you to Miss Hawcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty.
Aren't you afraid?
She's quiet.
Good. Good evening.
I need blood.
Tell me, Thelma, why do you feel so attached to Mr. Elwood? Why him?
I'm not sure, Doctor. I think we have a
Do you plan...
Of course not.
Would you...
No.
I'll leave you. Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Dr. Reed?
What do you mean?
I was not...
You remain...
Thank you, Doctor.
How did...
I had received... I'm just Will...
Do you...
Tom? Not... How... What is the situation? Since...
Has the...
Ah, no. What I'm on... That's a... Not a...
Have you made friends?
Not really.
You never...
You're preaching.
How do you...
I feel...
You're in good...
Thank you.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. It's locked, all right. Thelma Howcroft said she was being watched by vampire hunters. Where are they hiding? I should investigate. It's locked. Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed.
Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir.
A colleague?
Not any...
What do you mean?
No. Yet?
Why?
It was for...
What?
Because... Why should I?
And so...
Half... I don't...
When we first...
Funny... Yes.
What?
With the quarantine...
Who...
I'm...
Since you're not afraid of dying, do you believe in life?
No.
Do you think you...
I don't think...
So you're...
No.
You're a what?
No, Doc.
Do you...
As quite... Yes.
Good. Good evening.
And good for me.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good.
You always knew the words to calm the children, Ella. As for me,
What can I do?
Thank... Good evening. I have to go now, sir.
I'm willing to give you the benefit of the...
Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening.
Goodbye.
With you at our side, Dr. Reed, I know that Pembroke will prevail and...
Good evening, Doctor.
And good evening.
Goodbye, Doctor.
I'm quite...
Thank... Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Goodbye. Good evening.
Doc.
Good. Good evening. How close are...
To wait.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt.
She's quite...
You do...
In her
So
and why?
She could...
Then it's an...
Goodbye.
I wonder what your last thoughts would be, sir.
Here again.
Good evening.
I need...
I'll leave you.
Time has lost its effect on me, but the suffering continues.
This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes. Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin.
William Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood and shows extent. The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night. I have so much time now.
It's locked, all right.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Goodbye.
Not now.
It's locked, all right.
If I'm to stay here until my research is complete, I'd better learn to hide my true nature from the mortals. But what about my thirst for blood?
Hurry.
Yes, Nurse Crane?
I'm so sorry.
A crisis, you say?
Our supply of antiseptic...
Nurse, this room is off limits, and I'd prefer to keep it that way. Make sure the rest of the staff are so informed.
Of course, Doctor. And what about the antiseptics? Or do I inform the staff that you're too busy?
I may have a solution.
However do you mean?
If combined correctly. So
the storeroom!
Perhaps I should look there first.
It's the large building behind the hospital. You'll need to go in the back.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital. A small door at the end of a narrow street. On my way, then. Thank you, nurse.
Please come back later.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor.
Tell me why you're extorting money from some of the patients here.
If a patient wants a bed, he'll have to pay me a little fee. That's all.
Where did you get the idea for such an immoral...
Funny you should ask.
Goodbye, Milton.
Yes?
What?
At...
London?
We...
It's...
Good evening. I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening.
Goodbye, Miss.
My sweet girl. Treats me like a bull.
Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find somebody...
Shoot! Die, vermin!
This is an impressive knife. There's a name engraved on the metal. Clay. What kind of man puts his name on a knife? Opium is one of the main ingredients of Strickland's medication. Never a good move. Good evening, Mr. Cox. And why?
People who don't...
That
what?
What? Perhaps you're right.
If there must...
Do you ever think...
Oh,
perhaps...
If there...
How is your...
This...
What? But you're alive.
What are you...
What?
this city like the back of my hand, Doc. I know its streets, who to pay.
We can't just...
I ain't afraid.
And who...
I'm the...
I have found the gift from your wife.
In that case, you'll be properly rewarded.
I hope that won't make me an accomplice to your future crime.
Who knows what?
I'll leave you. What can you tell me about your marriage, Clay?
Marriage is the sweetest cage, they say.
You mean your wife keeps you on your toes?
No, I mean, we both have claws and we...
Am I right to assume your wife...
I was so mad, I threw away the knife she...
Your wife gave you a knife as a wedding?
That knife is all...
A lucky charm.
You'll have a...
You're lucky to be alive, Mr. Cox.
This place is for...
I will see you later. I'll leave you for now, Mr. Cole.
Sure we're making a difference.
Have you done this?
Finally, you've returned, Doctor. Did you find anything of value?
Yes, nurse.
You've worked your first miracle.
Duty call?
Many thanks, Doctor.
evening, sir.
Blaming me will not further your agenda.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir.
You are not a burden, sir.
And you have my gratitude.
How
So painful, I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor. Good evening, sir. Doctor.
Good evening. Why do you feel...
I wasn't disfigured by any German shells.
Tell me, did you...
No.
What? Beauty,
says Miss...
How is your... Oh, can I ask...
It's the pain. No.
Goodbye.
Disgust on every street corner. Daily routine.
Please, sir.
What's going on?
I'm Blight, sir. Newton Blight.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed, from the Pembroke Hospital.
Oswald and myself were both infantry, sir.
How long have you been searching for him?
I can't go there. Too many rats by the water. Fucking rats.
Don't be ashamed, Mr. Blight. Many soldiers who survived...
What? What is not...
Where...
He went... We...
I have all...
Thank...
routine.
Time has lost its effect on me, but the suffering continues. I wonder what your last thoughts would be, sir.
Good evening.
And good evening.
I located the shop, but it was vandalized.
I was afraid of such...
That's quite a list you ordered.
This dreadful
Do you realize you could create a lethal poison with...
Is this not...
As long as...
That's all...
I can't let Strickland put his patients at risk with opium. Perhaps an adjusted formula will deliver more of a placebo effect. The flower's dying. It needs water.
Please, Jonathan, come in. Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea. But my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
There is an absurd poetry to my situation. Physician, heal thyself.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant...
Thank you. But I'd rather you didn't speak so lightly about my condition. There is nothing I find amusing about this situation.
Very well.
Please.
The Pembroke...
A spokesman or politician...
Discretion is in...
And you would like...
By the...
Accepted. I'll...
do you need? Then ask her. You must set. I think the and when what as this you will find that he was when just we'll see it.
Situation. I managed to arrange to have you buried in the same mass grave as your wife. I hope that might help.
It's locked.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Such a pleasure to see you again.
Have you heard of someone blackmailing people in the hospital?
Pardon me, sir, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
Tell me the truth about your appointment as a medic during the war, Rakesh.
The regiment administration appointed me by mistake. I had to learn the job on the spot, sir. Very hard, sir, but I rose to the challenge.
Do you realize how many soldiers died because of that decision? You should have refused.
Yes, sir. I swear I did, sir. But no one listened. When the first wounded arrived, I had to do what I could.
It is an unbelievable story, Mr. Chidana.
It was a time beyond belief, Dr. Reed. But I'm happy not to deal with the wounded. I prefer caring for the dead now.
You can't impersonate a doctor. You can't improvise a medical education. People could die at your hands.
You're absolutely right, sir. But as a field surgeon, it was more like being a butcher.
Do you believe you have really helped these people?
My ratings were within the averages of the regiment. I saved lives, Dr. Reed. Does that not say enough about triage and war surgery?
Goodbye, Mr. Chidana. Good evening.
And good...
Have you... I want to know...
I know I'm...
Self-confidence is a...
But you never...
Don't you think we have enough work already?
Chasing He refuses to admit that your blood transfusion tech...
What Dr.
It's a false
Goodbye.
I'm all right. Don't waste...
The flu took my dear wife, Emily. I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again soon enough. Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind, the blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet Lady of Mercy.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. It's a pleasure to see you again. You seem surprised. Dr. Swansea has brought me up to speed.
You're a vamp.
Indeed.
So it seems our
Dr. Swan...
I hope you're more...
You must have... These...
Please.
My...
I'll meet...
My... Is our... my...
What?
There's no need for a...
Preposterous.
Please, Harriet. I heard...
Blackmail?
Really?
This is your...
Thank you for your time, Miss...
The patients and staff might know something. I'll start my investigation with them.
So many
Good evening.
Good evening, Doc.
Pepper, are you sure you want to leave this hospital?
To become a nurse was a little girl's dream.
But you're doing something important here.
We save lives, sure. Each time we send a cured...
What?
Let me get...
She could have been...
That old witch.
No. What can you...
Let me...
Goodbye, nurse. Good evening. I'll...
Black.
Do you think you can... Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
I'm quite...
Good evening.
And good evening.
Did you know? Perhaps
see how...
Goodbye. Good evening, Mr.
Good evening.
Have you heard?
No.
Good.
I will not let you down, my boy.
It's locked, all right.
How can I be sure I'll not find your unconscious body in the house again?
I promise you, you'll not find my unconscious body.
For God's sake, how can you say such a thing?
How can you refuse to listen? I tried to warn you for so long.
No, I won't let my only son die. You promised me you'll stay alive.
Your son lied to you, like the whole world lies to us.
You're sure you don't come back with me?
Nah, I have to see someone at the hospital.
Be careful. You look so bad they may keep you as a patient.
Fuck 'em. I don't like hospitals. Or doctors.
Well then, when you go back to Whitechapel, You may find this useful.
What is it?
A pass for a free medical exam by the best nurse available. Just read it.
I don't read well, but thank you, I guess.